Hello, and welcome to AcceliGOV. My name is Michael Lake, President, CEO, and founder of Leading Cities. We are a nonprofit organization headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, but we work with communities, municipalities all over the world. And in that work, we identified some years ago that there was a real gap between innovators and the creations that they've come up with, the solutions to urban challenges, and the municipalities and the governments that need to be deploying those solutions. To bridge that gap, we created a program called AcceliCity. It has become the world's largest GovTech-focused accelerator program. Just to give you a sense, last year alone, we vetted over 650 solutions from 80 countries. Of those solutions, we are now offering 6 pilots of some of the top innovations that we found from around the world. You will now have an opportunity to hear from those solution providers. Get a sense of not only the solution they've created, but the pilot they're now offering you as part of our AcceliGOV program. AcceliGOV exists to connect these opportunities to pilot innovative solutions in your community. If you have any questions regarding the AcceliGOV process or the pilots or even the solution itself, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at AcceliGOV@leadingcities.org. That's AcceliGOV at leadingcities.org. But now, and more importantly, I want you to hear from this solution provider to inspire you as to why you should be applying before our February 29th deadline for their solution. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I look forward to hearing from you with any further questions you might have.
I certainly appreciate your time. I know you all have other things that you need to pay attention to every day, and that sort of goes to what StrataSite is focused on, and that is saving lives through collaboration. Certainly very proud to be initially selected and then, part of the top 10 from AcceliCity. Appreciate that opportunity, and again, appreciate your time. In the United States, as you all probably know, active shooter events in schools have increased significantly, really astronomically since 2010. In addition, schools themselves have spent billions of dollars on what we call target hardening, surveillance, technology, SROs. In 2022, $3 billion was spent. It focuses on what is going on in the building and the personnel resources. As I mentioned, target hardening for a specific facility can involve a multitude of things, mapping, we're doing some critical incident mapping, safety technology, whether it's gunshot recognition, screening, when you come into the building. States are starting to hire and provide funding for SROs, and certainly teacher training is a big part of that. But what is happening outside of the building? With the focus being internal with EOPs or internal action plans, there hasn't been a whole lot of focus on an effective way to bring coordinated response. So these agencies that are in typical municipal governments do not have a plan that matches up to that internal response plan. They, in many cases, are reliant on mutual aid. Communities that don't have full-blown PD, FD, a sheriff, and a plan to incorporate state highway patrol, especially for longer-lasting events, find our platform particularly useful to set the stage for that coordinated response. Now, we don't like to point out particular cases. Everyone knows what has occurred in the country. Everyone has seen what indecision and lack of coordinated response has caused. In many cases, the use of a platform like ours would have saved lives. In addition to the human cost, there becomes a significant financial risk associated with inactive, incoordinated, or uncoordinated response. And the human toll is huge, but one of the reasons why QBE and AcceliCity, I think, took us to the forefront was because of some of the actions that have been taken post-event. And administrators recognizing that they need to have a better coordinated response plan. You can no longer take the risk of just allowing the pieces to fall where they may. So we've created this software platform to allow agencies to efficiently create coordinated response plans and then train on them and then change them as necessary. So we've really got two sides to the StrataSite platform. One of them is our SaaS planning tool, and the other side is our training. So we really believe that once you have built a plan, you need to train with it. You need to have an easy way to keep this information at the forefront of responders' minds, but also at the school level with teachers and administrators. The two have to work together, and you really need to know what the other hand is going to be doing in the moment. So the first part, relative to plan building. If you log into our portal, what you'll see are the plans that you're credentialed to view. So if you're a school superintendent for a particular building, when you log in, you will see the response plan for your school. If you are in charge of a police department, you're going to log in and see all the schools in all the districts that you're going to be responsible for responding to. To start a plan, it's really easy. You simply type in the address, and our platform will focus in on that facility, identify that geographic location. When we get into the planning portion of it, you'll see that we've identified a lot of best practices for coordinated response. Now, we've put this together based on our own experience with our clients, and also a lot of best practices from law enforcement and Department of Education. And this template allows for a really easy way to assign agency responsibilities and drag and drop those pins onto a map. Now, if this is at all interesting to you, we can get into a more in-depth explanation of the platform and how we assign agencies. We're able to establish perimeters. You're able to show barricades so that if a street department needs to come out and lock down roads in a hostage situation, you're able to do that. In another site location where you can't have street access for an event, we're able to do those types of planning things as well. But in a school situation, what we're really doing is taking that internal operations plan or that incident action plan that might already exist, in fact, should exist, and we're creating a bridge between that internal document and how external agencies are going to respond. Almost all schools in all states are required to have an EOP. In some states, they're required to present that to PD and have the PD check a box that says, yes, I've reviewed that plan. What we found is that once that plan is checked off, there's so much information that really the emergency response groups and the city administrators don't have time in the moment to get into that IAP. There has to be a mechanism to dictate what those primary initial responsibilities are for those agents in the moment. And that is really what we focus on. Communication becomes a major failure point in many of these instances. What channels are mutual aid agencies going to communicate with your command and control on? What channels will EMS be on? Casualty collection points, command and control, law enforcement staging, rally points, landing zones. where the media is going to go, where reunification is going to be, so that that can be communicated to parents. That is one of the biggest issues that emergency response groups deal with. An incident occurs and everyone rushes to the scene in a disorganized fashion. That's the problem that we help to solve. Administrators, responders, and K through 12 teams have information overload. Much of it's mandated. How do we cut through the noise to make those valuable connections? Once the plan is built, how do we send this out to the stakeholders to make sure that they're aware of the plans that are available, to those key pieces of information and what their primary initial responsibilities are? Well, we take this plan and we put it into our LMS. You're easily able to load the active threat, build a quiz around it, and securely invite groups of users to view their portions of the plan and what their responsibilities are. We're also, as a result, able to measure what people's level of knowledge is, what the learner's progress is. So, do the teachers in a school know where the rally points are? Do they know where reunification is? And do they have a basic understanding of what emergency response agencies are going to be doing? And vice versa. Do the emergency responders have a comfort level that the schools know? We have found in a lot of cases, there is a real big disconnect between what school staff believe emergency responders are going to do, how they're going to act, and in reality, what they're going to be doing. Our LMS creates an easy way to bridge that gap so that with simple rules-based training, we're able to build plan awareness and adoption and maintain legacy knowledge. Those relationships that get built when key people retire or move on is something that our platform helps to maintain. Where are communities using our planning tools? K through 12, certainly. Government buildings, in some cases, don't even have IEPs or EOPs. We help facilitate that at a basic level and also build response plans around the large number of employers or employees that can be in those buildings. Universities, large employment centers, corporate headquarters. We're seeing our plans used for public events, at large churches, and increasingly at sports stadiums, even school facilities. Unfortunately, people that are looking to create mayhem are seeing the targets get hardened in school facilities, and they're moving to softer targets like football games and soccer games, homecoming, and things like that. So when we look at the United States, there is no shortage of soft targets, and we anticipate that as communities move forward and they recognize that the targets and the investments in the facilities have been made, there will be a concerted effort to move towards platforms that can provide coordinated response. Now, StrataSite being a part of AcceliGOV has been great for us. We really rolled out of our beta where we were building our tools with clients in 2022. 2023, we saw great success with work scheduled into 2024 already. We have a great retention rate. Once clients determine that we're a good solution for them, they continue to use our platform. Now, these are a couple of the guys that I took this idea to initially. My name's Paul. I'm sitting there, not wearing a tie today, but had one in the picture. My background was civil engineering consulting and surveying, mapping. I took my experience there and was appointed as a safety service director for the city of Findlay, Ohio. And I did that for about a decade. But when I came out of the consulting world for the mayor, and I sat down with my safety leadership and I said, hey, there's a lot going on in schools in our community. What is our plan? What does our response plan look like? I didn't really get a great answer. And so we as a community sat down and built over the course of about 10 months response plans for all of our schools. I spent a lot of money to print them out. I put them in every police car, fire truck, EMS, handed them to Life Flight and mutual aid agencies. About 4 months later, we realized because of a false alarm that we needed to make some changes. Now here I am with these hardbound, spiral-bound books that cost a lot of money to create, and I have no real good way to change them. That was the birthplace, or the birth for the idea of StrataSite, so that not only can we template this to make it easier for communities to do it and remove these cumbersome barriers to pre-planning, including just getting around the table and having an efficient use of time, but also to engage the community and let them know that we do have a plan. Those are at the root of it, those are the real things that StrataSite exists to accomplish. So what would a pilot project look like? If pre-planning for coordinated response at your schools or your facility, and we have a landfill as an example, if pre-planning for coordinated response is important to you, what we would do is work to identify the weak points in your coordinated response now. We would build a plan to address those and create active threat plans for all the K through 12 schools in your community. With our learning management system, we're actually able to engage school leadership and emergency response planners at the onset, build plans, and then measure the success of that planning. What does it mean for a community? We firmly believe it will lead to a safer and more engaged community. Are we going to eliminate the possibility of an active threat at your schools? No. But what we are going to be able to do is ensure against the level of chaos that is created during those events. We are 100% going to help you maintain legacy knowledge in those relationships. And we are 100% going to be able to enhance your training capabilities. Now, what does StrataSite get out of the AcceliCity or AcceliGOV program? More validation of the need for coordinated response. What we're looking for is an engaged community that wants to work on the weaknesses for coordinated response and at the end of the day, have an advocate for what we do.